Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast brought to you by our patrons at patreon.com/Nexus at Night, like Darren and Cole. But I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And we're talking about online simulators for Vanguard and for other TCGs. I just wanted to do a quick aside, though, and say yay about the Chauvin verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people hate when we get political.
Nancy Pelosi's response is among the worst responses I've ever seen.
It was just the kind of thing of like, just don't.
Cannot. I don't even want to repeat it. Just look it up. It's real bad, and it gets worse the more she talks. It's atrocious.
This plus the the dashiki from a few months ago.
God, dude.
Like one more like faux pas like that, and we've hit the like tone deaf hat trick.
No, we already know she's tone deaf.
Yeah, but the hat trick.
She is something else.
Yeah.
Anywho, one of them was got.
Yep.
Got one.
It's a drop in a decades-long stupid bucket.
More than decades, brother.
Century and some change.
How long has the U.S. been around?
150 years. Yeah, century and a half. Because I forget the 70s.
It's been more than 150 years since the U.S. has been around.
Oh, you mean like literally? Okay,
yeah, literally. I'm going all the way back.
1619.
I'm counting all this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So centuries, plural.
Anywho.
But so talking about online hosting clients for Vanguard and for other TCGs. That's been
what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say go.
I was going to say we should start off with the ones that have legit clients, right?
Yeah. Do you want to start with Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh first?
Well, since Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have an actual legit client, we should probably start with Magic.
Yeah.
So Magic has a couple of clients. They have the older client, which is Magic the Gathering Online, formerly called many other things. Some people call it Modo if they're very old, like me, which stands for Magic Online Draft Online. And they have a more recent client, Magic the Gathering Arena, which is supposed to be like their mobile, tablet-y version, more modern version of Magic. I think Magic is a pretty complicated card game, and so the fact that they have an online client that even mostly works is pretty impressive. Granted, there's still lots of bugs on the client, but Magic the Gathering Online, the original client, does work for playing a lot of old formats, for example. It has almost every card.
Does it work with like where it plays out the effects for you, or is it just like you got to move the cards yourself?
No, it plays out all the effects for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to pay the mana and make all those decisions,
mm-hmm.
and then it does everything else.
Yeah.
It even reminds you of triggers, which is actually pretty relevant. So it does everything for you. It's a completely automatic client. The downside of Magic the Gathering Online is that you need to purchase cards. But in some people see that as a benefit because you can always get the cards you want by buying them from an online store. So there is like a literal economy for Magic Online.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know.
You can literally buy the cards you want.
Okay, but I mean,
how do they handle pricing for that?
Yeah.
It's just like anything else. Modo prices in general do not reflect real life at all. The cards are wildly different. Like Black Lotus is like $70 or something on Magic Online.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came out like in a special set. But like some cards like Rishodon Port used to be like $300 online when it was not that in real life. But now those prices, it's got reprinted since then, so it's not that anymore. But like the prices fluctuate very, very wildly.
Okay. Is there anything pushing those fluctuations, or is it just like at a certain time stuff goes up or down based on?
So certain standard cards that get really, really expensive, because you can redeem sets on Magic Online, and what I mean by that is if you get a complete set of a new set, like a new standard legal set, if you get a complete set, you can redeem that set for a paper set.
Oh, wait, so you can turn to Magic Online and be like, I have this virtual set, and then they will send you
correct
the cards.
They will mail you a set. And if you get all foils of the set, they will mail you a full version of the set.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's super nifty. And that was kind of like the big draw originally to Magic Online. But that's like less of the reason now. Now people use it to play formats that they otherwise couldn't play in real life, like Vintage. Which Vintage is basically unplayable in real life unless you want to spend $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
But on Magic Online, Vintage decks are around $1,000.
I mean, that's still a lot.
It's still a lot, right? But like, it's fairly easy to resell cards on Magic Online. It's basically just like you can just like buy a deck, and we get tired of it, sell it for almost the same price.
Oh, so you don't have random like meta changes?
Transactions are almost instantaneous.
Yeah,
because everyone has like bots buying and selling.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy to kind of like push out, like just buy and sell everything on Magic Online. So that's one bonus of Magic Online. The downside is it's well, Magic Online, you know, you can only play, like, you're not going to have those cards in real life, so the money you spend on Magic Online is kind of sunk into Magic Online for that time.
It's also hard to explain to people, right? Because like it's already hard to be like, hey, so I spent a bunch of money on shiny cardboard. Now you go, I spent a bunch of money on shiny cardboard that's also virtual.
Well, the difference is, like, people play gacha games, so people can't even, like, those people can't comment.
Right. No, but it's more like trying to explain it to your girlfriend or your family.
Yeah. Oh, sure. But, you know.
Or boyfriend or whomever.
Just don't.
Yeah, I've told this story on the show before, but I can't remember how long ago it was. But my sister used to ride horses when she was younger. And I remember a few years ago, my mom goes, "Why do you spend so much money on a card game? It's just pieces of shiny cardboard." I'm like, "Mom, you spent thousands of dollars on my sister on a horse for her entire childhood. And I'm at least using my own money to do this." And she goes, "Okay."
And there's nothing really to say past that.
There was nothing else to say.
The idea that, like, some hobbies are, like, more... what's the word? Some hobbies are, like, cooler, better than others is just completely absurd.
Yeah, they're hobbies.
Just do whatever makes you happy. Who cares?
Yeah, they cost money. Hobbies cost money. That's also a thing, like, especially for Vanguard, I've noticed for these players where they're like, my collection is worthless now. I'm like, guys, it's a hobby. It costs money.
Like, art's an incredibly expensive hobby.
Yeah.
But God, I don't want people to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So, like, it is what it is. But no hobby is better than anybody else's. Like, if your hobby is reading books, that's fine. If your hobby is playing card games, that's fine. But, you know, do whatever you want.
If your hobby is podcasting, that's fine. Patreon.com/Nexus at night, so it stops being a hobby.
If your hobby is podcasting, stop.
It kind of is.
It's a different hobby. But usually people have... I can't wait for the day till we have a podcast about podcasting.
There has to be one, doesn't it?
You would think.
Okay. There's a podcast about, like, I did a podcast about fan fiction. That's pretty dumb. Like,
right. But a podcast about podcasting would be like the peak. Surely this has been done. This is like too obvious.
It's literally a sketch in college humor. There's like a thing where it's like the podcast about podcasting. Yes.
Oh,
I will have to find it somewhere, but it's in there.
I will watch you post it and then not watch it.
Okay. Anyway,
just to be upfront about it.
So so
Magic Online, again, usually costs more money to get the cards and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Magic Arena, on the other hand, is made to be kind of their challenge to Hearthstone-ish. It again does all the mechanics for you. You just have to play the cards. It can auto tap for you, which is a blessing and a curse.
Why is that?
Because sometimes it has weird ideas of what the best way to tap for you is, and will often tap lands with abilities for some reason, or like not leave colors up for cards in your hand or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anywho, but it can basically be played without actually doing too much. You can mostly go infinite, as it were, without spending a bunch of money. It's pretty quick to get your first deck built, but building lots of decks gets very expensive due to the stranglehold of what we call wild cards. And the downside to Magic Arena is that you have to, in order to get cards, you have to buy a bunch of packs or get a bunch of wild cards somehow, which is awful.
Go on.
Basically the idea is that, like, you have to keep, like, they don't give you a way to, like, buy wild cards. They don't give you a way to buy any, like, specific cards. So you just have to keep opening packs until you get what you need or get the wild cards you need.
That's very annoying. Like, even in real life, you can go, all right, go on eBay, go on TCG Player, go on whatever, and look for a specific card.
And since every good land in Magic is at the rare slot...
buddy. That's the engine that makes your deck run. Why did my voice crack?
But you're like 12 or something. I don't know.
Or just like when I get distressed about nerdy topics, my voice cracks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my big frustration with Magic Arena. Is mostly that it's just really annoying to get decks put together. But those are kind of the Magic ones. So those are the most official ones. Not talking about online TCGs at all, basically, or TCGs or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm titling the episode "Online TCG Blues." So.
Yeah, Vanguard almost had a legit client, and then they decided no.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
Because the company that they got to make it made a much more successful game.
Wait, seriously? They just blue-balled Bushiroad? I didn't know that's how that worked. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's like a joke, but...
Oh. I mean...
that was a thing that happened, I'm pretty sure.
Oh. And then Hearthstone... Wasn't Hearthstone also made by Wizards of the Coast?
No, Hearthstone is made by Blizzard Entertainment.
Blizzard, right, sorry. Lumped them together.
Yeah, Hearthstone is based off of Warcraft.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Hearthstone's an interesting game. Basically, the client's pretty okay. It's kind of laggy sometimes. I'm not a huge fan of I don't think it's like the best card game client, but it's pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Arena now or Battlegrounds nowadays, it gets really laggy sometimes.
Is Battlegrounds like a game mode or something?
Yeah, it's kind of like their auto battler, like auto chess or Teamfight Tactics or any of that nonsense. It occurs to me that you probably know what none of those are.
Exactly. I was going to say, is it just like you watch the
game
play?
Well, the listeners probably know what that is.
The listeners probably do. I don't.
Right. Yeah, so basically it's like everyone kind of has like a similar thing. You have like a hero that has a power, and like you just like buy cards and like build a board basically. And then those boards automatically fight each other with you doing nothing.
Oh. Yeah, I think I've seen that before, but I just thought that was a thing with like that's how your battle phase worked. Was it just played itself out or something?
Yeah, exactly. Oh. But you still have to like buy cards and do in position.
Gotcha.
It's kind of the same for all these auto battlers.
Oh. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! I know a little bit more about in terms of what they do.
So we should be careful how we talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ones, just in case somebody actually listens to this.
Why? Because we don't want to give them the wrong.
So there's like what Dueling Book, right? Is like the one that's probably used the most.
Yes, Dueling Book is the one you typically see, like, a lot of YouTubers will use that, or they'll use EdoPro, the other one, which we'll get to in a bit. But the thing with Dueling Book is it is up to you, the player, to do everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so you have to be the one that goes like move card here, declare main phase 1. Put in the chat, I'm activating this effect, or like declare effect, that sort of thing. And it's good for training for like real life because it's basically just the real life card game, but it's on your computer. Not really good for someone who hasn't been around in a long time and you're like trying to get back into it and you haven't read all the cards yet because you missed about 8 years, and then everyone's like, I'm doing this, and then that, and then this, and all over here, and then you're like, hang on, I gotta read everything. Give me a second. It used to be called Dueling Network. That's how old I remember it being.
I remember that one.
Yeah, but it also is not owned by Konami. It's
yeah, it is a fake one. It's an imposter, as it will.
Is it the kind of thing where like Konami cease and desisted Dueling Network, and then they came back as Dueling Book, and then they're just kind of looking the other way, or what's going on?
Who knows? Maybe Konami is like, well, people who want to play. I don't know what Konami's thought process is. It's kind of bizarre, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't really know what their decision is, or they just kind of don't know. Like they certainly must know about it, but like I don't know.
Maybe it's a thing where they don't have time to get to it, and they're just like, oh, just let them have their fun.
I don't even know if that's it, but either way, I think they just realized that they'll probably still sell. It could have even turned out that they realized they sell more cards with people playing on Dueling Book, and they're just like, well, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because the good thing about having online clients for this sort of thing is being able to test before you buy.
Right.
And it it even makes people like more excited about the deck that they're thinking of, because they
I mean,
go,
Konami screws NA anyway when they just like print cards that were commons at secret.
oh, like when they go from OCG to TCG.
Yeah.
Super annoying. I remember Teledad going from a rare to a secret rare, or not Teledad, Dark Arm Dragon. Yeah.
Or like Zodiac Barrage, common to secret.
Ridiculous. But yeah, that's like one major upside about having these online clients is being able to test what it is you want to play before you maybe decide to do it in person. Or it's like being able to vicariously live through this dream. Like maybe you just want to play the deck once, but you don't want to buy the whole thing. And I think that's what these online clients are good for. Because like there's also Edo Pro for Yu-Gi-Oh, which is kind of like wait, which one was the auto playing one for Magic? Okay, so kind of like Modo, where the effects will resolve based on what you decide, and it will tell you like, okay, you can summon.
Sometimes if you don't read your cards, it just won't tell you why you can't do something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely been
if you just don't know that missing the timing is a thing that exists.
Yeah. But that's also good because it like inadvertently teaches you stuff where you're like, okay, I guess I can't do that. Because on Dueling Book, maybe the other person doesn't know the ruling, or they're not paying attention because they're watching that 70s show and something gets by them.
Wait a second.
Hyper-specific reference.
Very specific distraction.
You see, this has to be Chainlink 1. Yeah? Where does it say that? Well... See this word at the front here.
Yeah. See, that's what I like about Edo Pro is that I can like be doing it while doing something else, and then once you decide what to do, the game like executes it for you. But yeah, because especially like at my job, which I goof off at my job, sue me. I have a lot of time where I'm waiting for something to upload or download or print, where I have, a couple of minutes free, but I can't devote all of my attention to that. So I have to be, if I'm playing a simulator for something, I gotta have stuff that like auto fills in the actions for me. Not sure that would be someone's reason for picking one simulator or another. Because they're like, you know what, I pick Edo Pro because it means I can goof off at work, thumbs up toward the camera. Like, that's not a thing. But I like that you have the option between one or the other, and they both have different even formats, like Magic does, where you have like a GOAT control thing, or you can do traditional if you want to.
Well, you can't really play GOAT on Edo Pro very well.
Why is that? I've never tried it.
Ruling shenanigans, right?
Oh, because it's not made for that, because it doesn't know about priority or the field spell thing.
Right. So Dueling Book is a bit better for that.
Oh, okay. I thought they had programmed it into Edo Pro because
they might have now. I'm not sure, but at the time, my last recollection is that it's not on there.
Oh, okay.
Or it wasn't on there in a good way, or something.
Yeah. Root Beer, anything to add about all this?
Not particularly. I don't use any of them all that much.
Oh, okay. And then the last one for Yu-Gi-Oh, the last major one is what's it called? Duel Links.
Oh, the phone game?
Yes. Which still technically counts, though that's
God.
Whole nother thing.
That one's official too.
Yeah, so Duel Links is made by Konami. It's sponsored by them. The whole kicker, though, is that it's almost a whole different universe where you have a different set of rulings and a different ban list, and so you have stuff like there's only 3 field zones instead of 5. You have a player skill, which is like, I guess, I don't really know what to call it. I know it's a thing in Rush Duels, which I haven't really gotten into. But
I also have not.
Touched it. I'm pretty sure Rush Duel is just Duel Links. If I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh's lucky I care about even normal Yu-Gi-Oh format, much less random other Yu-Gi-Oh formats.
That's fair. But it's a very popular online game. You have people who just play Duel Links by itself. They don't play the real TCG.
Oh, I know people like that too.
Yeah, or it's like for people who have been gone a long time, it turns into like a gateway drug because they're like, oh, I can just get it on my phone and it's free, and then it turns into a thing where it's like, maybe I should get the cards in real life. I kind of miss it, and then you're off to the races again. I'm pretty sure that's why Konami made it.
And then you get to buy, your $100 access code talker or something, right?
Yeah, that is one rule I set for myself in Vanguard Zero was no buying anything in the game with actual money. And I managed to stick to it this whole time, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just don't play Vanguard Zero.
That's understandable. Yeah. So Vanguard Zero? Transitioning into Vanguard.
Vanguard Zero certainly exists, that's true.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, Duel Links is a completely different beast from regular Yu-Gi-Oh, but, like, the overall flow of the game, even though, like, the meta is different and you have things like skill, is still, like, very similar to actual Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, you can transition from Duel Links to real Yu-Gi-Oh and vice versa, and I think you will be fine. And compared to that, the extreme amounts of ruling and gameplay changes between Zero and the regular TCG are just like... It's a completely different game at that point.
Almost, yeah. I mean, the major thing for Vanguard that's different is how defending and how your perfect guards work. Where agency has kind of been taken completely out of it. Where your grade 2s in the front row are now you're guarding from hand. You no longer have the agency as the player to do so, and perfect guards are just used automatically. If someone has an extra crit while you're at 3 damage or more, or if you're at 5 damage, it will just use the perfect guard, whether you want it to or not.
Right.
That's probably just to make the UI go quicker because you don't want.
Well, they don't want people like inputting actions on the opponent's turn at all.
Yeah,
like that's what Hearthstone decided too, right? Is that they don't want they don't want you the not turn player to have decisions to make on their opponent's turn.
I think that's good for something like you're on the bus and you got to look down from your phone to get off or get on. It kind of makes sense for what it is, but in terms of like actual gameplay, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like that on-hit effects are way better in Vanguard Zero than they are in real life because there is no, voluntary shielding. So it definitely made deck building a whole lot different. Like the on-hit counterblast 2 to draw 1 guys became so much better than IRL.
Right. And they would still saw a little bit of play IRL anyway.
Yeah. A little bit. Because you could also bully rear guards with it. In real life, so people would be like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Even outside of like Leopold Reverse, where you played like maximum Lamp Camel,
such a fun deck.
Which is probably one of the. I think I also played them in Zeal before that, before Break Rights came out.
Oh, okay,
interesting.
Because they were. I mean, this dimension tweaks. Your rear guards mostly don't matter. So
yeah.
Well, because you also had that guy that was like, if they're at AK or less when you hit, you draw, right?
Yeah. Well, not free.
No, it was free. It's
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is this that early?
I forgot the guy's name. It's like an AK grade 2. I'm hoping it's under support or something.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
No, it's not. Damn it. Oh well.
Yeah, no. I'll find it eventually if it's in a set that matters.
Yeah.
But go on.
But actually, Leopold Reverse is what I've been playing in Vanguard Zero, and it's quite good because they also added an effect onto it where if Leo hits, you can or Leo Reverse hits, you counterblast 2 and stand something. Hits Vanguard, sorry. So it'll be a thing where you attack with both guys, like one dopes the other, and then you attack with Leo Reverse. On hit, you're gonna stand one of them, but maybe you'll get a stand trigger to stand the other one. It's good stuff. That's another thing with Zero, is that they can add effects to older cards that maybe weren't so good the first time.
Right.
Or like like a problem-solving thing where like this was kind of clunky the first time. Like here's an example. So Galactic Beast Zeal in the original game was act Counterblast 2, choose one of your opponent's Vanguard. It gets minus 1k for each rearguard you have once per turn, and then also the 1k if it's on top of the grade 2 Zeal. Now, the 0 version of Zeal is Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2, to have all of your opponent's units get +1 or minus 1k for each of your units. Retire all of those rear guards with power 0 or less. And then also on Van, when it hits a Vanguard, you can Persona Blast and have one of your opponent's units get power minus 5k, retire that rear guard with 0 or less. So it turned into this thing where like there's the debuffing, but once you start hitting negative numbers, it blows stuff up in the meantime too.
Yeah, but actual negative numbers is still hilarious.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. But it's also super cool to see him do the, like in the game when you do the effect, it's like multicolored lasers coming out of him, and then they'll blow stuff up when it makes it hit 0. I don't know, it's cool to look at.
Also, another thing with zeros, you don't get to keep your drive checks, right?
Yes, they go back into deck, bottom of deck. So I think because of guarding not really being a problem, I think that would be a little too crazy. You'd run through your deck too fast. Because decks are, 40 cards, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the same case in Duel Links, where decks are less than they are in the real game. Is that just for time purposes, or what's the deal with that?
Wait, for 0?
Either or. Whatever virtual version of the game.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of that is just that because there are no grade 0s in Vanguard 0, that the deck is just smaller.
Yeah. That's another cool thing about 0 is that you can you can basically make your grade 3s whatever triggers you want. So the strategy of the deck changes based off the push of a button. There are lots of other skills like that where you can't really do that in real life. You have the chess timer thing, like you do on Edo Pro. You have stuff where it's like in Dark Irregulars, there are the cards like Demon Bike, Demon Chariot, and Demon... What's the third one? Bike, Chariot... Whatever. The Demon whatevers of the Witching Hour. When you play them, another copy is added to the deck and then shuffled in. So that you have the opportunity to soul charge more of them and get their effects up, because they get 2k for each copy of them in soul.
Right.
Obviously, you couldn't do that in real life. There's also stuff where it's like when you soul charge a heal, a grade 0 heal is added to the deck and shuffled. I think that is a good use of a virtual medium. And I know it's different and not very good for testing, but it's still like become kind of its own creature that I think is interesting and a cool time capsule for that era of the game, of like the early stages of Vanguard, which I hear we're getting Legion soon, which would be weird and interesting.
Yikes.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure how 0 is going to be able to handle things like Legion and especially Stride.
Yeah, I'm a little paranoid about that.
Yeah.
So I found the monster that Atlas was talking about.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. It's Fusion Monster Bug Read, and it didn't come out until BT13, so get out of my face.
Okay, alright, you're right. Bug reading? And it's the effect I was talking about, right? If they hit...
Yeah. But it didn't come out until way after Break Rates.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was wrong.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Root Beer, were you saying stuff before I interrupted you?
Yeah, like, another thing is that when you drive check your grade 3 triggers, they go into the drop zone or something? I know they don't go back into your deck.
Yeah, they go into the drop zone.
Yeah, so I have no idea how they're going to handle Stride, because it's a lot harder to find your grade 3s when half of the time they're leaving your deck because you drove check them.
Yeah. It would be kind of interesting if Stride either becomes a thing that's ancillary, where people are like, I guess I can't really do it all that often, so I won't bother, or they'll find some other way to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which watch them do the thing
More
where it's like,
importantly, are they going to fix the problems with Stride that we have, and I guess Legion too, that we've been dealing with in our current in Hellsk? I guess the way power changes means grade 1 rush wouldn't be as effective anymore, huh?
No, it wouldn't. But it would be very interesting to see them go, okay, to Stride you can either discard at grade 3 or pay 100 crystals or whatever the game's currency is. If they were to like go the completely shitty route, which I'm not ruling that out yet.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if Ripples might manage to do something in Zero.
They are pretty good as they are now. You got a couple of them coming out. The Revival Legion hasn't obviously come yet, but you'll see. Anything else you want to add about Zero before we move on to the other options for?
Nope.
All right. So,
I mean, I don't play Zero, so I don't have anything to say.
Understandable. All right. Tabletop Simulator or CFA? Who wants to go first?
Let's talk about CFA since it's a more popular one.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Cardfight area.
And it's the one that's like built for Vanguard, because tabletop is just something people add onto the game.
That's true. I guess we could just have that be the last one as like a nice little bow, because.
Yeah.
But CFA, what's up?
It looks horrible, number one.
Yes, it does.
But it definitely does the job. It's much more like Dueling Book, where you have to kind of make all the decisions yourself. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of just hoping that the developers put in whatever new mechanic is being dealt with.
Yeah.
So, like, people are, doing some pretty sketchy stuff just to get, like, kind of the ride deck in order, at least before the patch. And everything seems to break the...
Yeah. Like, Vanguard has introduced a lot of complicated mechanics that do not play well with Area.
What, like...
the ride deck just being the latest one.
But there was also stuff like imaginary gifts with, like, Excel circles and all that stuff. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like, they made it work, but, like, that was weird. I don't know how they're handling Overdress right now for Area. What else is there?
They released a patch. I'm not sure. It was pretty buggy on release. I'm not sure how much of that they fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But CFA is not owned by Bushiroad. It's independent.
No, it is.
Yeah, it is Russian programming.
One thing that bothers me about CFA is everything's like a button press instead of cursor-centric.
Oh, it's the worst. I always hit escape when I'm like looking through my deck and then I close the whole client.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
There's a lot of just like incredibly frustrating things about CFA that's mostly my fault because like, well, you should know, but it's like works so unnaturally. It's kind of like when they design doors to imagine they design a door that looks like a pull door, right?
Yeah.
And you try to pull it, and it's like, no, it's a push door. Like, why design the door that way?
Well, where it's got like the handle like curved outward toward you, you're like, oh, you would grab it and pull usually.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care that pushes. I'm not reading that. I'm looking at the door. I'm looking how it's shaped and reacting accordingly.
Yeah.
It looks like a pull door.
Usually a push door has like that bar, right? You push against the bar.
Or like, like a solid thing to push. Or nothing.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, there's no handle. I guess I push it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what's the point of even putting the handle there on a push door?
It's also really hard to use on Mac, which that's fair, but
yeah, that's what you get for having a Mac or something.
Thanks. Way to support your friends there, buddy.
Also, one big problem I have with CFA is like, aside from the one, they like finally made something for like searching top 5 for a grade 3 or something like that, but they haven't really added anything for just searching your deck in general. Like, most of the time you have to just manually put things into the bind zone, but then you also have to actually bind cards sometimes.
With like a random number of cards, like 7 or something. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
They should add definitely a look at top X option.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty nice.
Wait, so you can't? There's no like see deck or view deck button.
I mean, you can look at your deck, but you have to look at your whole deck.
You want to look at like top 7, right?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no like look at top something.
Yeah. So there's just no button for like searching X number of cards from your deck.
Hmm.
Like it's weird because they did it for a few cards. Like there are certain cards that were like on play, you can search your deck for a grade 3 or something. It doesn't work for the actual grade 3 searchers, ironically, but like there were a couple cards where they actually do have a search function, so we know that they can make it. They just haven't.
Yeah, I believe the old ride chains have it for whatever fucking reason, and then they just never did it again.
Oh, like the like if you rode this on top, look at top 7 for the grade 2 or 3. Or...
Like I know it was worked for like Magatsu maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But,
there are
like-
like occasional searchers that it will work when you place it. Like, do you want to activate the skill? Yes, and it'll search however many cards for you, but
It's insane.
they don't do it consistently, and there's no button for you to just do it. So, like, searching your deck sucks especially as they add more and more different zones for you to remove cards to.
Oh my god, the prison must be a pain in the ass.
Like, I was just using the remove from game zone because, like, you have to use the bind zone for searching your deck, so I can't actually bind cards lest I get confused. So anytime I have to remove something from play effectively, I have to just use the remove from game zone, which is also where things like gift markers or G-assist cards go.
Well, now there's no G-assist anymore because of the ride deck, so that's good, at least.
Yeah.
For standard.
You know. Like, the game keeps adding new zones to remove things too, and I haven't tried the new area patch, to be fair, but up until this point they hadn't managed to actually fix any of that.
Mm-hmm. The like one listener who has the new area patch, he's not talking about why hasn't he tried it? Why? Oh my god. I really hated that everything had like a key press macro to it, and none of them were intuitive at all. Like Matt was mentioning, with like escape would just close the whole thing, or like
control clicking, I think, was like looking at your soul, locking a card. You have to press delete to delete your Vanguard, though, because control clicking makes you look at your soul.
I mean, deleting to delete your Vanguard is intuitive, to be fair.
Yeah.
But like it would just be easier if you could like right click, control click, and just be like a bunch of options pop up. Look at soul, soul blast, something would just make it easier.
Yeah, like you have to manually soul blast. You have to like go into your soul, click on every individual card, and move them into the drop zone one at a time. It's terrible.
Yeah. God forbid you do something like a Bruce, right? You got to go in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you think that's bad? Have you ever played Genesis?
No.
Have you ever played Dark Irregulars and you have to constantly click on your Vanguard to count how much soul you have?
Oh my god. Chris must be having like the opposite of the time of his life.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obnoxious, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But like soul decks are obnoxious even like if you're playing even on Tabletop Simulator or something. The soul decks are just as bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just
Also,
like having a really nice client to play soul decks would be really, really convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are like there are decks where you want to be soul blasting certain cards, which would make automation a bit hard, but like,
I mean, the compromise there would be make it you could like have a toggle switch for automatic soul blast versus not,
or just even something like the ability to just highlight multiple cards and move all of them at once would be nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. So you just like click and drag to get that nice box, and then everything's highlighted. Drag and drop. Yeah. Would be real cool. I know we're kind of like just complaining without really offering much of a solution when it comes to like implementation and programming, but it's just something that not just here with like independent programmers, which we'll get to Tabletop Simulator in a bit, but I'm surprised that Bushiroad hasn't gone the Konami route and just make something that is kind of like what your game is like presently, just for people to test with.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise my ass is printing off proxies in my work printer and cutting them out.
Hey, works, valid.
Yeah, they're in black and white because it's a laser printer, not a color printer. And it's like in the video games from the 90s when you haven't unlocked that character yet. Just like, I gotta fight 25 more people online to unlock Zangief or whatever. It just.
And also, like, printing out proxies can be hard if there's no English translated picture of it.
Oh yeah, then you gotta either like have them written down on another piece of paper or memorize them, and hope your opponent like understands you. Right? They're just like,
yeah,
I think I believe you. Or you gotta have the thing saved on your phone. Be like, here, read. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Continue. This is all pre-COVID time stuff, by the way. You can't really do that now.
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID really just highlighted the lack of an online simulator.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would like increase interest in the game because I feel like it would be easier for me to teach a friend, or when my girlfriend goes, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" and I explain it to her and she doesn't want to break up with me. That would be nice. By just going, "Here, try this online simulator that has like an instruction booklet."
Mm.
Or a how-to or something. Even if it's just like a Switch game, that's something.
Yeah. And like Magic the Gathering has kind of proven that like you can still sustain the physical TCG even having an online alternative.
Yeah.
Probably make more and you know, if they just start direct charging people for cards, they could probably make more money having an online client.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they have zero as it stands right now. You got to pay money for crystals or whatever if you want, unless you're me and incredibly stubborn. But yeah, I think like having more points of entry for someone to learn your game or play your game if it's been a while, or just if they're on the bus or on a plane or something, I guess. Mm-hmm. It still like piques interest in the game proper, because the tactile feeling of playing with cards is an experience you can't really recreate online.
Yeah, and like people are still gonna go to their locals to like hang out with friends, and especially like for major tournaments and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And they're gonna make YouTube channels and start podcasts and be around for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? We're coming up on 5-year anniversary this July.
I know.
Oh, God. What have I been doing with my life?
I can't believe it lasted this long.
We've been going for 5 years, and we still have like a 1/100th of Different Fights views.
Patreon.com/Nexus at night. What?
Whatever. Different fight. He pulls the people in, man.
Yeah. Different Fight and Solemn are the goats, and they've both been on our show. So you know what? That's an honor. Thank you, both of you.
Got him.
Multiple times, I might add.
Yes.
So now we come to the coup de grace, the tabletop simulator, which is all of the games we've mentioned combined plus everything else.
Yeah, tabletop simulator has a problem of being. So first of all, importing cards is really obnoxious.
Yes.
Because you have to do everything yourself, basically. Mm-hmm. So tabletop simulator gives you infinite freedom, which is good. But the downside is it also gives you infinite freedom. So you just have to do a lot of work to get started, and it's still like really annoying to play Soldex. So it's no surprise that a lot of people prefer to play on CFA, because you're mostly doing the same amount of work, except that CFA is like easier builder. You don't need to worry about that, right? And people generally update it pretty quickly. So I don't know. I think tabletop simulator has a lot going for it, and that it looks really nice. It doesn't offend my eyes, but it does require a bit more effort to get going.
Yeah. Plus, you could do stuff like custom cards if you'd like, which I think that's a neat idea that more online simulators could do with. I think Dueling Book has that too, where you can make custom cards and there's like a room for it. which is neat. I like that idea. But I don't think that Tabletop Simulator is really an elegant solution either, because having to do all the work yourself is a huge pain in the ass.
Correct.
So to that I say, Bushiroad, because you have this new team, this new design team, you're starting from the ground up again. We will not fault you if you make an online client akin to an Edo Pro or a Dueling Book or a Magic Online that people can play with. Even if it's just overdressed stuff, I'll be happy.
Please. I don't want to have to drive 45 minutes to my locals.
I don't want to have to buy a whole new computer to play CFA.
I mean, you probably will anyways, because lol max.
Shut up. Shut up accurately, but shut up.
Just buy a gaming laptop already, damn it.
I just bought a whole freaking computer not too long ago.
That's true.
So did I, but mine isn't going to be here until, like, July.
I built a pre-built because it's so annoying to build a computer these days because graphics cards are a giant meme.
Yes.
So I did not do that. I just bought a pre-built.
I got a custom-ordered one. Or... a customized pre-built, that's what I'm thinking of.
So it's basically like I did none of the work of putting it together. I didn't have to mail parts back for some dumbass reason. Mm-hmm. And it's just done. So, people can say what they want about me, about how I'm so lazy. We don't even save that much building your own PC anymore.
Hey,
everything's a gigantic meme.
Hey,
yeah.
You know,
probably cheaper to get a pre-built right now.
It might be.
It's truly lazy. Getting a Mac.
Yeah, but how am I going to play video games on that?
That's what I'm saying.
I know, right?
I was doing the work for you guys, and you didn't even take the son of a bitch. All right. You know what?
Am I going to pay twice as much money for less performance that I can't...
nice UI or something? I don't know. I'm done with
I don't even like Apple's UI.
It's a losing argument that I can't win or something. I think that about does it for this, but like before I wrap up here, we wrap up here, I just want to say that as you, the listener, do you think that Bushiroad could, knuckle up and actually make an online simulator for Vanguard? What would it look like to you? What platform would it be on? An easy way.
Will it be derailed by anime again?
Will it be derailed by the anime again? You can let us know what you think on Twitter or Instagram at Nexus at Night, or you can find us in the same places. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Wickham's 2Gs2Zs.
Find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak, Novack. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you Sunday for our bonus show for Nexus Tangents every Monday on our patreon.com/Nexus at Night. $5 or more a month. It's price of a cup of coffee. You get a whole ass bonus show every week, plus a bunch of other stuff. Coffee talk. I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.